Today it's time to look at this Arrows RC F-86 Sabre, and I've had my eyes on this model for a really long time, ever since I actually flew the E-flite MiG-15, the small UMX RC airplane, because I really like the shape of the MiG-15, and this one is really similar in the wing shape. So when actually this one was on a sale, I purchased one. So just go outside and do a flight on this F-86. So I have a really wet field today, and it's really difficult to take off with like tricycle gear RC airplanes when you have wet grass. It's always a struggle, and this one isn't really too powerful. It's more or less like the E-flite F-15. It's not too powerful either when you try to take off from grass. So I have flown the Arrows Marlin prior to this Sabre, and I mean they are very similar when it comes to features and also how they are designed. I think this one looks much better.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
So I think it handles good. No zero throttle, just gliding. Gliding again. I think when you actually go downhill with an EDF, they glide really well. So if you want to preserve power, it's a really good way. Because flying time on EDF RC airplanes isn't too long. This is run on a 4S 2200 milliamp battery. And I believe you can actually fit larger battery inside if you like to. I think it could be possible to at least do 2700. The thing is, when it comes to how I like to fly my RC airplanes, I mean, EDF RC airplanes, they are really cool. I like the EDF noise and also the shape of some of them. But I also feel that like they are limited, because I mean, you don't do I try to do like stall turns here, but you don't do like the same kind of aerobatic routine as you do with a prop-driven RC airplane. So it's a different flying experience. I mean, I'm doing less things, at least how I fly them. I mean, I have more fun when I fly prop-driven RC airplane. Maybe that's just me, but I think you can do so many more things. Just toy with how actually the lift is influenced by the RC airplane. But EDF, they are just like a rocket. They go in the direction you point them at, and somehow they actually need power to do things, because many of them becomes really squirrely if you try to do aerobatics with a low speed. They can really easily drop out of the sky. But with a prop-driven RC airplane, I think you actually have some. You can tell much sooner when it's about to go south, so you can save it. But with the EDF, it just comes right off, and sometimes it's difficult to save them. So it's actually speed and power is the key. And this is a 64mm EDF. You can
Takeoff
just
flaps.
glide for a long time if you like. And it does also have flaps.
Landing flaps.
So in my experience on the Marlin, then I think that the flap they did slow down the plane, but not as good as like many other RC airplanes. So let's get this one down then. It was good this time. I know these gears aren't really that solid. So, but all landing gears have the nose gear. They're actually one roll point of braking, and it's the same on this Sabre as well. This is a really nicely looking model, this F-86, and as I've flown the Arrows Marlin, I think the Marlin and this F-86 they are really brothers because they feature like the same things. So it does feature rudder, which is a really good thing, and it also feature flaps. But I think this one looks just a ton better than the Marlin. I never really liked the appearance and the paint and the design of the Marlin, but this one I think just looks fantastic. And I have a thing for warbirds, and this is sure an EDF warbird. I think it's a good flying RC airplane. So the problem or something that you have to maybe practice is to get this one down in a good way. And I experienced the same thing on the Marlin, because I mean you just have to have the right glide path and the right speed for avoid this one to bounce, because if you bounce too much it might just bounce and flip over and whatnot. So I've surely done a few really poor landings with this one, and what happens is that like the nose wheel does actually get bent, but so far I managed just to use some force and get it straight again. But it's a really great looking RC airplane, also as almost all Arrows RC airplanes. Really simple to put together, a few screws for the main wing, a few screws for the rear stabilizer. You have to hook up some linkage. Screw in the nose gear, and on this one inside I have an AR630, so you can actually get this one I think if you purchase the Vector stabilizer, which is Arrows like stabilizer system. But I always have a few spare Spectrum receivers, so I had this one in just use. And as far as the battery, this one is supposed to fly on a 2200 milliamp 4S battery, and I just put the battery all the way forward as forward as I can, and then it's balanced on this CG mark. So I mean it's a really simple one. It's using XT60, which works just fine even on Spectrum batteries with the IC3 connector, or you can even use EC3. Just a little bit more force to squeeze them in. So I mean it's just a really simple model, and then again compared to the Marlin I think this one looks much better. I don't think this is as fun or looks as great as the X-Fly A10 as I have in the background. I think the X-Fly A10 is actually much quicker when it rolls. It does feel speedy when you fly it. It's only 3-channel RC airplane, and then when you're about to land the X-Fly, I think it's super easy because more or less you just kill the throttle, you glide down, and then you flare at the end, and you have a nice main touchdown. So I mean, apart from the landings, then I think it's a good flying RC airplane. It's not the most fun one I have, but it surely looks great in the air when it flies.